Hello, my name is Denise Reyes. Today we'll be talking about the principles of instructed second language. Principle number 1 states that instruction needs to ensure that learners develop both a rich repertoire of formulaic expressions and a rule-based competence. Principle number 2 states that instruction needs to ensure that learners focus predominantly on meaning. Principle number 3 states that instruction needs to ensure that learners also focus on form. Principle number 4 states that instruction needs to be predominantly directed at developing implicit knowledge of the L2 while not neglecting explicit knowledge. Principle number 5 states that instruction needs to take into account the learner's built-in syllabus. There are a number of possibilities to do so. There are zero grammar approach, developmental readiness, and explicit knowledge. Principle number 6 states that successful instructed language learning requires extensive L2 input. To ensure adequate access, teachers need to do the following: maximize use of the L2 inside of the classroom and create opportunities for students to receive input outside of the classroom. Principle number 7 states that successful instructed language learning also requires opportunities for output. Principle number 8 states that the opportunity to interact in the L2 is central to developing L2 proficiency. Principle number 9 states that instruction needs to take into account individual differences in learners. Principle number 10 states that in assessing learners' L2 proficiency, it is important to examine free as well as controlled production. They distinguish 4 types of measurement: metalinguistic judgment, selective response, constrained constructive response, and free constructive response. Principle number 11 states that learners need to engage collaboratively in talking about linguistic problems and try to agree on solutions to them. Principle number 12 states that instruction needs to take into account the subjective aspect to learning a new language. These principles are intended to help students that are learning a second language, but we should always take into consideration what our students need and how we are able to better help them. Thank you for joining in.
Created using Powtoon.